Hello, class. Welcome to another session of Ask Denise Live. This evening, I want to just go through with you the activities for the week 5 classroom, since we're already in week 5. I noticed that there are some students who didn't post the week 5 initial discussion response that was due yesterday. I encourage you to go ahead and log in and complete your initial discussion response. I also want to make sure that you remember that you are required to post 2 responses to your peers. So let's go back to the initial discussion response again. Your week 5 initial discussion response, there are 2 questions. You are required to just choose one of them and respond to that question. Whatever you post, just make sure your initial response is a minimum of 250 words and that it is substantiated by at least one reference. Your initial response also, when you have your reference, just make sure that you are including your reference list at the end and also in text citations. You cannot have one without the other. Like I said, you are required to post 2 pair responses, and each of those responses should be a minimum of 100 words. Just make sure that you have those 3 responses posted by the end of the day on Sunday. Let's take a look at what is due in week 5, but before we do that, I want to make sure that you remember that each day you should be reviewing the announcements posted on the announcement page. So let's go back and take a look at what was posted this week. We have your welcome announcement that was posted on Monday, and in this announcement we just discussed the various aspects of communication. Communication is needed to complete a task and involves interaction between people. It is considered one of the top 5 workplace skills. Interpersonal communication involves several types, and you'll see these types listed here: your source, your message, the channel, which is the medium by which the message is communicated. You have the receiver, then there is feedback, environment, and you need to consider your noise. So just take a look at those as you go into the discussion for this week. As I said, your initial discussion response was due yesterday, October 3rd. Your responses to peers, which is your secondary postings, should be done before October 7th. This week you also have a quiz, and that quiz is due by October 7th. Your assignment to peers, or your assignment, I should say, is also due by October 7th. So you have quite a few things due this week. Your initial response, which you should have already posted. Your 2 pair responses should be posted by the end of the day. On the 7th, you have your quiz and your assignment, which should be completed by the end of the day on Sunday. You would have noticed that on Monday, we also posted a template that you can use to help you complete the week 5 assessment. We'll get back to that in a few minutes. Here is something fun. Happy Tuesday, friends. On Wednesday, I would have sent you a reminder to complete your initial discussion response, which was due on the Wednesday. And you will see here that I am reminding you of the live session that we're having right now. You would have seen that the grades were posted. I would have found that there were some issues with persons meeting the word count, the minimum word count. Just make sure that you are reviewing the feedback about your grades that are posted each week. And then here, another fun thing, and this is so true. Aristotle said this: we are what we repeatedly do. How many of you believe that? We are what we repeatedly do. And if you have practiced good habits, then you become a person then that would probably be ethical and meet certain standards. So just remember that as a really good thought as you go through this week. Let's look at the classroom folder and go to the week 5 folder, this is where we are this week. During week 5, you'll be looking at the objective 2 and objective 5, the learning objectives. For objective 2, you're going to summarize effective group conflict resolution techniques. And objective 5, explain how different leadership styles influence organizational culture and organizational behavior. If you click on the week 5 folder, it will take you, you will have the link for this live session we're having here. You will see a sequence of activities table, and your assignments that are due each week, you're reminded in a number of different places. So just make sure you're reviewing the folders to make sure you're not missing this key and important information. So then your readings for this week will be chapter 10. Go ahead and view your presentations. Your discussion response is worth 30 points. And here are your due dates again, the quiz, and your supplemental readings, and your presentations. Your presentations are all listed here. Just go ahead and click on the individual folders to access those. Here you will find your week 5 quiz. Your week 5 quiz is 25 multiple choice questions, and each is worth 1 point. So just make sure you have those completed by the end of the day on Sunday. And here is where we will dive into what is required of you this week. And here is an idea of what the assignment looks like. Go ahead and read that, and the questions based on the assignment. So you have a number of links that you would want to go ahead and become familiar with the case. Wins, losses, and drawers in the Chicago strike. What happened with the Chicago teacher strike? And a number of resources here. So go ahead and read those resources, listen to them, and answer these questions, these 5 questions that are posted on the board. You should have 2 to 3 double-spaced a document that should address each of those. Remember each question, make sure you're using your work demonstrates scholarly research, so you want to make sure you're doing some research and using some outside sources to substantiate your ideas. This is the grading rubric that will be used to grade your assignment, so just make sure you take a look at it before and after you've completed your assignment. A good idea, as I would have said previously, is that you can go back and you can grade yourself against this grading rubric to see how you would come out. So that's the assignment for this week. Now let's take a look at what the template looks like. So your template for the week's 5 assessment, just remember that we want to make sure that you don't have to be totally bogged down with the formatting. I've given you a properly APA formatted template that you can use to complete the week 5 assessment. So go ahead and fill in your name here and use this template. Remember, always your first paragraph must be your introduction, and you go ahead and answer the questions. We have the headings there already. Go ahead and make sure that you answer the questions. Include your headings based on the assignment itself. So let's go back. So this is just a template showing you what it can look like. Go back, look at the assignment, and include your headings. So your first heading probably would be situation that precipitated the strike. That would be your first heading. This third heading could be negotiation tactics used by both parties. So you just go ahead and replace those headings there and just complete the assignment. This is just a guide for you to show you how to set up the assignment. Now, if you have any questions about the assignment, of course, remember I am here for you. And just feel free to contact me and ask me any questions, and I will go ahead and assist you. Remember, the assignment is due on Sunday, so you want to make sure you're coming with those questions prior to the assignment due date so that you can be sure that we do go ahead and you get those responses before the deadline has passed. One thing I would want to remind you of is I would have gone ahead and I would have given you a midterm connection feedback telling you where you are to date. Go ahead and read that and look at the suggestions that were made for you on how you can improve. And if you have any questions about that, certainly give me a call. I have also included the assignments you may have missed. So go ahead and take a look at that and see what you would need to do to improve your grade moving forward. We have just a few more weeks left. There is still time for improvement. So I encourage you to go ahead and review all the information and the sources provided for you. If you have any questions about week 5, the content, the assignments, feel free to reach out to me and I will be more than happy to assist you. Have a good evening.